All right, I got 6 o'clock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a meeting of the Board of Appeals of the City of Holland. Board members are regular citizens of Holland who have volunteered and have been appointed by City Council to consider applications to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Housing Board of Appeals, and Construction Board of Appeals for accommodations for persons with disabilities. This board must interpret each application as it relates to city ordinances. This board is not empowered to rezone or to take any action that could be considered rezoning. The presence of 4 board members is required for a quorum. It also takes 4 concurring votes to pass resolutions that either deny or approve applications. Decisions of the board are final and are effective on the day of such decision. However, applicants may appeal decisions to the circuit court in accordance with state law. When your application is called, we ask that you come to the microphone and state your name and address. We will hear the applicant first, and then anyone supporting the application, then anyone opposing it. If you elect not to stay for our deliberation and decision, you can call the Community and Neighborhood Services tomorrow after 8:30 in the morning to learn the results. With that said, will the clerk please read the first agenda item?
1375 East 16th Street, also known as 361 Quarterline Road, 19.12H, Mark II LLC is requesting a variance to connect 2 buildings to the same sewer lateral in 2 separate locations on the property. There are currently 9 existing sewer laterals, and there will be 11 new buildings. The ordinance requires a separate independent building sewer be provided for each building unless certain conditions are met. 29-38 and 29-46.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here to explain the application and the need for that? Again, please state your name.
Sure. Rob Behrens with Naderveld Engineering, representing the Kendall Property Group, or Mark IV Developers, however they've got the LLC set up. But it's this Quarterline Flats is at the corner of Quarterline and 16th. I think it's been master plan PUD for many, many years. And as was stated, there's currently serving the site 9 laterals. We have it, instead of having to tie into 16th Street, which is on the south side of the street or in the center of the road, shutting down traffic. It'll be a single entity ownership, so they're going to retain ownership of this, not split it. And rather than digging up the road, we would like to just combine, I think, the clubhouse and an 18-unit building, and then an 18-unit building with an 11-unit building, sharing a lateral. We worked with Mark Gibson. He was, I think there's a letter in there supporting that. It's not a capacity issue. It's just more of a convenience issue than not having to dig up 16th Avenue. It's fairly deep sewer.
Okay. Are there any questions from our board members at this time?
I just have a question. You just mentioned that it's going to be single entity ownership, not to be split. Is it possible to put a condition in that says that it cannot be split, or that if it is, if a building that is on a shared lateral is being sold separately for whatever reason down the road, that those can be required to hook up?
As a separate thing. I don't see how they could split it, but they're going to keep this for their portfolio, their company, but as we know, 20 years down the road, things could change. So I don't think they would be adverse to that as a condition of approval.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Sure. Can you confirm that the BPW recommends that we approve this variance?
Yeah, there should be a memo.
It's on your screens right now.
Yeah, but I'm finding facts here.
Sounds good. Cross the T's.
Any other questions? I had a couple myself. The garage in the middle has a sewer service and is connected independently?
And a water service.
And
Yeah.
a water service?
It's a separate building. We toyed with using that lateral. It's a maintenance garage, is all
Right.
it is. So they need a sink and a toilet.
Okay.
So that's the reason.
Can one of these buildings, and I apologize, I've got a small printout. Is it 360 and 359 address? Are these the two that are being combined, the 18 unit and the 11 unit?
If you could go to can you go to the map?
Yeah, I'm short a map right now.
Is there
Map I can throw up?
is there an overhead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can they go north?
No,
Coeur d'Alene Commons?
the sewer in 16th is significantly deeper. We actually did look at that, and the service works better just because of grade-wise to go to 16th.
Oh,
So
Dan,
as you
flip it with north on the top, please. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. One more. There you go.
There we go.
All right, thank you. I was
So,
twitching
yeah.
there for a second.
It's really the southwesterly building. So you can see the clubhouse and 372 would be connected together.
Yep.
And then just to the west of that, the buildings 360 and 359. Man,
Those two, yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
my contacts don't work on those small.
Okay, so those couldn't go north to Coeur d'Alene Commons?
No, that 11 unit building 359 would be borderline.
Okay.
I could relook at that if you preferred to have that one with the garage go that direction, but either way, there's gonna be two situations where I have multiple buildings
Sure.
connected
Yeah,
to
of
the
course.
other. So
Yeah.
it's certainly not a capacity issue. Those two, that 18 and the 11 is 29 units. The two big L-shaped buildings are 28 units. I think we put some documentation in there on the flows, and it's not a flow issue, but.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board? And this one does get a public hearing, yes? All? All right, so at this time, I will open the public hearing for comment. Anybody wish to speak in support besides the applicant? Anyone seeking to oppose this? May approach.
If I may, Doug Damstra, 309 Northwest Crossing. I actually live in Coeur d'Alene Crossings, directly next door to the proposed development here. Really, all I wanted to find out, and I've done plenty of work with Naderveld, and I certainly trust their engineering know-how. So at that point, one of my big concerns here was capacity, and would prefer actually if they tie it into 16th as opposed to Coeur d'Alene Commons, just from a capacity issue. Really, I wanted to ask the question, is it possible, is it open at this point to discuss anything else regarding this, specifically traffic flow, or is that going to be something different?
No, that would be something different. This,
Okay.
the topic before us is strictly related to the sewer services and the number of services, and the ordinance related to that for each independent building connected to a public sewer.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Sir, you are allowed to contact, behind you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. You are allowed to contact our planning department, which worked with this as it went through the site plan review process.
Yes.
They did discuss traffic and they discussed some of the other things like that. But you're more than welcome, if you've got any new concerns or additional concerns, to contact them in the morning.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the previous, but I'd still love to.
Yes,
just
please, yeah,
talk.
Jenna Ellsworth is the best person to contact regarding
Sure.
that.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
very much.
Thank you.
And Doug, can I have your last name again?
Damstra, D-A-M-S-T-R-A.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wish to speak on this application? At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. And if there's any other discussion by the board, I think we can open that up now. If there is not any discussion by the board, then I'd love to hear a motion.
I move that we approve the request for a variance. I think the applicant has met both of the conditions, provided a basis for the appeal and the reasons for the request, and the applicant has provided the staff report from BPW reviewing the appeal with a recommendation to approve. I further would like to, well, do I need a second before I discuss a condition?
Either way is fine.
Okay. How would you like to do it? Would you like to go for a second?
I'd say go ahead with put your condition in
Okay,
your
so
motion.
I would like to add a condition to the motion that if these buildings that are connected or that will be connected to the same sewer, if they are sold, that there will be a separate sewer line for each one and that this condition be included in the deed registry.
And to clarify, sold to separate owners.
To separate owners.
Yep.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Okay.
One question, the BPW report recommended a manhole be placed where the sewer lateral splits. Did you want to include that in as a
Yes.
condition too?
Right, any conditions in the BPW letter should be included in the approval.
And a second for that?
I would second that.
Any other discussion? We'll call the roll.
All right. Davis,
Yes.
Fusak,
Yes.
Blunt,
Yes.
Sork,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Van Antwerp.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. All right, and the next item,
658 Vinralty, 19.13Z. Gary Smith is requesting a special exception to construct a driveway parking space between the street and his residential house at 658 Vinralty. The Zoning Board of Appeals may approve this application if certain conditions are met, 39-58B or 39-60.
okay, and we have the
Yes.
applicant in front of us. Again, your name and address, please?
Gary Smith, 658 Van Raldy
Okay.
Avenue in town.
Okay.
Holland.
And could you go ahead and explain the application and your reasoning behind your request for a variance?
Well, Van Raldy is busy. It's a busy road. And this will help us. We have been turning around out in the street and backing in the driveway. We feel more comfortable pulling out into traffic than backing out. There's a couple of trees in our parkway. It's just like I say, with traffic moving, it's difficult to back out in that street. So we always try in the street to back in from the street. The problem is with traffic coming when you're trying to back in, and we live between 27th and 28th. Sometimes people, you start to back in, they zip out, and like we say, eventually we're going to hit someone backing in from the street, or they're going to hit us. So we came up with this solution. So my request is, and again, it says here a parking spot. It's really not big enough in where it's at to really park anything on it. It'd be harder to park on it, and all we want to do is just use it to kind of do a three-point turn in the driveway to back in it so we can face the street going out. Again, where we're at, we're a block away from the high school, and there is parking on our side of the street. So you put, with the school year, you put cars on our side of the street, cars on the other side of the street. I got 2 trees in my parkway, throwing a couple of snowbanks, and it's hard to see. And it's difficult to see, and then you make it after dark. It's just difficult to see, and I think for safety, for ours and everybody else's, I think it's a good thing to have. I guess that's where I'm kind of coming from. Okay.
Any questions from the board of the applicant?
No.
If you were to be denied this application, what would be your recourse then?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to tear it out.
Okay,
That'd be
so it's
I don't hear very well. I apologize.
it's there
to everyone.
already.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So,
I do have a question as well.
yeah.
Would you be able to Is he able to see what we're looking at? Would you be able to, on the south side of your property there,
No, that's right to the line now. You mean,
like,
I've got that in, that is in.
that's all paved to the road?
Well, not to the road, to the sidewalk.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, I'll tell you what I got. Here. Can I bring these and show you guys? Oh. How's that? I can shoot it to the computers if they have it. Okay, here's what we're talking about. 7 by, not quite 17. And this is what it looks like over town. This would mean I got parking there, parking here. Okay, you can explain to them. Okay, this is the pad, it's 7 wide by about 17 long. And what it's used for, what we'll use it for, is strictly to turn around. You know, kind of pull in, kind of do a 3-point turn. So we back into the garage, and where the red car is, we back in and park there. To be honest with you, it's 7 feet, and that really isn't much to park anything. To be honest with you, I'm going to say I don't want to park my car out that close to the road anyway. And if you're going to park there, number one, on the lawn side, if you want to walk all over your grass, you could. It's just not wide enough to be a parking spot, I don't believe. But anyway, we put it in.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. We put it in so we could back around, so we could enter, so we could pull onto Van Rolte rather than back out in it. Like say the one picture, maybe the other picture, that kind of shows the problem. We got actually a car parked on the left side of the picture, and if you move it over a little bit, there's another car parked over on the other side. And we got 2 trees. It's just like I say, it's just 9 months out of the year. It's just a busy street. Backing out into it, it's hard to see. Traffic moves quick. Throw in some snowbanks in the winter, and it's just, this I thought was our best option to be safe for us and for everybody else. So that's what we did.
Did you receive a permit to do that part?
I did get a permit.
To do this? To do that?
Well, the whole thing, I messed the whole thing up. To be honest with you, I messed the whole thing up. And it came off in a hurry, and I got a permit late. I already had it done. I'm not trying to beat the system, so that's why it's there. I got a permit, though. I got one. Somewhere.
Okay. Thank you. Dan, the sketches here, this is from your department, so it was just outlining what, we're covering the area that's, just to be clear, we're only covering the area that's on the north side of the.
Correct. I believe the permit that he has is for the portion
On
on
the
the
south.
towards the bottom of the page there.
Yep, okay.
And then, because that is something that could be done without a variance, that
Right.
could be done legally with a permit.
Okay.
So that's what I believe he's got a permit for.
Okay.
Dan, just for clarification now, the picture that we have on the screen, this picture here, shows that that portion on the south is not done, but a photograph that the gentleman supplied shows that it's all the way to the sidewalk.
The picture that you have there is just an aerial photograph that's taken from our records. Probably aerial was taken a year ago.
Okay.
Okay? And what the picture that you saw that he has was probably taken
Yeah.
less than a month ago or something. The pictures that you provided
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
So
How
he
long ago
is-
were these taken?
The picture?
Yes.
I don't know. Probably a month ago.
Okay.
So he's 17 feet all the way from the garage to the sidewalk. The first question that popped up is why didn't he go, and I think the gentleman asked, but why didn't he go to the south instead of the north? But that appears to be paved already. He's got a single lane coming from the side, in the curb strip, and then 2-lane, the other picture, Dan. Or am I looking at that wrong? No, he's got, it appears that he's,
No, from the last photograph, that portion to the south, he does have 2 lanes all the way from
from the sidewalk.
sidewalk to garage,
Okay,
currently.
good.
And that's okay, you said that.
That's a single stall garage?
Yeah, it's a single stall, a little bigger than this. Yeah, there it is.
Any other questions?
I'm just a little bit curious about if the permit explicitly only gave that south bit there, or if it also explicitly said that he was permitted to go north as well.
I don't have a copy of that. I can take a look at what his copy of that says. More than likely, the inspectors gave him a permit for the stuff that was legal, and that if he got an approval for the portion in front of the house, that would be included in the permit. Otherwise, it would not.
And so you're saying likely that the northern portion was not?
Correct. Until such time that it's approved by the zoning board, it is not legal for us to issue him a permit to do that.
Dan, did you say a curb cut can be up to 20 feet?
That's correct, 20 feet at the point that it hits the sidewalk. So our reviewer probably took a look at what he's got there on the south and then approved him for whatever legally he could. So I don't necessarily think that the south portion is illegal. It's just when it goes down towards the street, you can only have 20 feet.
So based on the photograph though, that has to be his drive entrance between the sidewalk and Van Raalte is narrower than.
Right, that regulation is is in the area of the right-of-way. So that means from the sidewalk to this point here, maximum 20 feet with 3-foot flares going in this direction on this side, 3-foot flare on this side. So it doesn't really regulate this portion as far as the width.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, so question here. So for us to grant this variance, there's some standards we have to go through. And one of those is to grant the north portion, if this would be the only way for you to have 2 accessible parking spaces on your property. Can you confirm that it looks like you can have 2 independently accessible parking spaces without that portion?
It's,
So
without that, right, without that portion, I can park 2 vehicles side by side.
right,
That's what you're asking?
that is my question. Yes.
But I can't really do a back without going on my yard.
Yep, I'm with you there. Understood. Thanks.
Makes sense.
And then going on that, other standards that we have to approve this, is this the only manner that will permit reasonable usage of your lot?
Reasonable usage?
Yes. Living there?
Yes. I guess. I don't know. I'm confused.
Without this,
Without this, to back around so I can enter Van Raalte.
can you continue to use your residential lot
With this or without?
without it?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay.
But it makes it a whole lot safer and a whole lot better for everybody with it there.
Any other questions? Okay. At this time, we'll open the public hearing, and anybody else wants to speak on your behalf to approve it, or
You're with me.
Right. Anybody who wishes to oppose it, I've got to go through the process. Nobody here to approve or to support or to oppose this, then I will close the public hearing. And I guess at this time, discussion from the board. Any other discussion with the board?
I think, you know, a review of the criteria that we would use to approve this shows that it probably, I'm persuaded not to support the application based on what we're given to use to make that decision. So when there's a motion, I'm probably going to be voting against the application.
Yeah, I hear you, Fred, and I can sympathize with the applicant's concerns with Van Alty, the traffic, and turning around, but with the standards we have set forth, I'm leaning that way as well.
Okay. Then at this time, we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we deny the variance. I believe that it would be detrimental to the other neighborhoods if we start allowing this to happen in everybody's front yards. We're going to have a large concrete parking pad in everybody's front yards. I believe there are other things that could be done to alleviate the problem, whether it be help from the city and with traffic flows. Even there's something with the skull or something. There's other things that could be done to help the problem out. You have, with the driveway you have ample parking for your cars that are in the home. So yes, I agree with you that pad is not there for parking, it's for turning around. But there could be things that could be done to help that problem out. There's a lot of other places in the city that run into this same problem that you're having, and I sympathize with that, but we have to be very clear in how that's going to happen.
I second the motion.
I was going to say, I think it was mentioned during the course of the hearing that the property can be used without it. That's one of the standards.
Yes, that's
Okay.
very true. Thank you. Yeah, the property, it doesn't affect your ability to live there in the property.
Any other discussion? We got a motion and a second, and I think we'll take a roll.
Okay. Davis,
Yes.
Fusak,
Yes.
Blunt,
Yes.
Sork,
Yes.
Van Antwerp,
Yes.
and Bauer.
Yes.
Motion approved to deny.
Motion to deny, approve. Yeah, it's a motion to deny, approved.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Motion approved to deny the application.
Motion approved to deny the variance.
Okay, motion,
The motion was approved. Okay. Next item would be I don't believe we have any new business, so it'd be approval of the August 22nd minutes.
I move that we approve the August 22nd minutes.
I'll support that. I think we can say all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And then our next meeting date is October 24th, 2019. And anything else for the good of the order? Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. I think we're adjourned. Thank you.